Look in the background. What do you see? I'm no longer in the worst country, Canada. I've moved to America like I said I was going to do, and I finally did it. I'm in the US of A, greatest country in the world, and I will not even think about Canada or the fact that it was just Canada Day. Don't even think about that. July 4th is coming up. That's what's important. Now, the other thing that's important, and this is something I want to talk about, is All In 2. So AEW just did Forbidden Door, and a couple of things. I didn't watch it, okay, because there's with the recent AEW when it was 4 pay-per-views. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll invest every single time. It's going to be a great show. Nowadays, it's still a great show, but I cannot justifiably invest $50 or whatever to every pay-per-view when they have 10 of them every year. They're going to need that streaming service or something soon because I can't do it anymore. I'm flat broke. Okay, I just spent all my money coming to USA, okay, as an illegal immigrant. But a few things happened at Forbidden Door. Despite me not watching it, I was on Twitter kind of pretty much that whole time, so I was understanding what was going on, and Britt Baker, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, had returned, and she kind of faced off against Mercedes Moné, and it was weird. I feel like there were so many matches that the whole thing happened way too quick. Like, she comes out, stares down Mercedes, and leaves, and that happens in the span of 1 minute. Like, there's no point for her to even be there. Her music hits, she comes out, you get the pyro, and then she goes to the back. And it's just weird. Like, wrestling is weird. Like, she'll come out and she won't do anything, and then she'll go to the back. She didn't even, go like this with the title or whatever, like MJF did when he came back and stared off against CM Punk. And even when MJF did come back, it was different because it wasn't just his music hit. Like, there was a whole vignette and stuff that happened beforehand and whatever. It's fine. It was just funny because it was there's no point for Britt Baker even being there. All In 2 is shaping up to look way better than All In 1. The thing about All In 1 is, yes, at the time it was a spectacular event. 80,000 people, not WrestleMania. This is, a huge event. When it really came down to it, the matches didn't feel like WrestleMania caliber. It didn't feel like that grand epic for AEW that it was supposed to be. And I think the reason why that is because there was first of all, there's a lack of storytelling with a lot of the matches, which is something that was a big deal. It still is kind of a big deal, but I will admit AEW is doing better in that department, the storytelling department. Even, for Forbidden Door, it's not even a story pay-per-view. It's just, hey, let's cross over a bunch of guys from different companies. Even with that going on, it's still managing to tell stories more consistently than it was back in the All In days. Last year. So the thing about All In 1 was that a lot of it was just matches that came together and had maybe a week or 2 weeks of story leading up to it, and then other than that, not much there. I remember looking at why is Hangman and Kenny Omega why are they in a random 3-man tag? I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Especially with CM Punk coming back and stuff, there was so much potential for the first All In that what they didn't hype up. Expectations were way too high for that show, and then it's not that it disappointed, but in terms of the matches and what they could have done so much more. It's not as special watching it back, I will admit. I mean, when you think about it, the MJF Adam Cole, was that really worthy of the main event? We could have maybe gotten something else. Again, I always if it was MJF and CM Punk in that main event, oh, boy, that could have been good. Or MJF and Kenny Omega or something. But, the point of this video is All In 2 is coming, and I think it's shaping up to look way better than All In 1. I mean, first of all, at this time, we weren't even getting matches announced or any kind of story. At this time last year, end of June, early July, we weren't even getting stories for All In 1. And now we have probably 2 matches confirmed already with MJF and Will Ospreay, which is what I said. By the way, everybody was saying that it was going to be Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland in the main event, and Will Ospreay is going to win in his hometown of London. I mean, would Tony Khan have done that? Yeah, probably, but I called this from the beginning. I said, no, Will Ospreay should not be in that main event for All In. It shouldn't be him. The main event should be Swerve and Hangman, in a rematch maybe, or maybe Swerve MJF or something like that. Will Ospreay is quite simply just too new to go and main event All In. Even though it's his hometown, he's too new in AEW. to go and main event All In and then win the title. I knew that wasn't going to happen. It shouldn't have happened. I'm so glad it didn't, because I think what's going to happen is we're already building up to Ospreay and MJF, and we got Swerve. Hangman's coming back, so maybe we get a Swerve Hangman rematch. I don't know how many matches they've done, but every single one of them gets better than the last one. So we might be looking at something there. I don't know. And then, of course, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, comes back. Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné for the women's title. Or what is she? TBS title. MJF, Ospreay. Maybe for Ospreay's title, we could do that. That's 2. And then Swerve and maybe Hangman. That's 3. So we already got kind of 3 matches, potentially, that are probably going to happen for All In 2. Which is so much better than last year when we had nothing. Right now, we absolutely had nothing right now. They didn't even announce MJF and Adam Cole. They didn't even announce that main event, I think, until mid-July. And even then, it was like, oh man, like really, like that's going to be the main event. Yeah, I don't know. I think 2 is shaping up to be better than 1. I think 100% it's going to be better than 1, because I think Tony Khan. Yeah, I think 1 was about breaking records, and now 2 is about, okay, let's set this up. This is now going to be our WrestleMania. This is going to be the staple for AEW. We're going to come, probably not to London every year, but we're going to do All In. There's not going to be as many people. I think we're at like 40,000 right now in terms of ticket sales. But I don't know if you've noticed, the stage is much larger this year. You can see on like the ticket maps, the stage is going to be like huge, big ass ramp. There's going to be like, it's going to be like grand. Like it's going to, you know what I mean? So I think in terms of showcase and in terms of like, they're not worried about breaking records anymore. They just want that showcase, that grand finale, that grand, epic show for AEW in terms of like matches, production, story, all that stuff. I think that's what they're focusing on this year, which is great, which is what I wanted last year. I mean, I still enjoyed last year's All In, but, this year, I think they're really going to do it this year. I'm more excited for All In 2 than I was for All In 1 last year. I'm going to say that right now. And which is weird, because I don't even enjoy AEW now as much as I did last year. So it's a weird thing to say. Anyway, I'm here. I'm in America. I am finally here in America, where I was meant to be. Wasn't born here, but you could say I am the adopted child of the USA. All right, now Canada, like, let's just get this straight right now. You might as well be in North Korea, okay? Because that is a dictatorship going on right there. In America, this is land of the free and home of the brave, okay? But Justin Trudeau has been leader of Canada for how long now? There's no limit for how long somebody can be the prime minister in Canada. So Justin Trudeau, that psycho, is going to remain prime minister forever. But don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Justin Trudeau. I love Justin Trudeau. He, every day, day by day, slowly, makes Canada a worse country to live in. I mean, how can you not love the guy? He's punishing Canadians as they should be punished. That's it. That's it for me. We're going to get new, consistent uploads from me probably every day. I know I've been away for a while, but now I'm here and I'm ready to go. That's it. Good night.